us from across the world. We want to
Thank
thank
you for
you for
joining us
joining us
today
today
on the
on the
John
John
Mayaki
Mayaki
Show,
Show.
and Happy New Year to every one of you. Um, we sincerely appreciate you guys for keeping faith with us. We're glad to have you on the show today. This is the first show of the year, and we're starting with Edo State. We're starting with the topic, Obaseki's commissioners and matters arising. Today we have somebody who will be joining us as a guest, Mr. Idris Zekari Jr. will be joining us from Benin, Edo State. Last year, about 5 months ago, we on this show, on the John Mayaki Show, treated a topic titled Shock, Disappointment, Disbelief awaits Edo PDP members as Governor Obaseki set to unveil cabinet nominees and commissioner designates. We told you that outright shock, disbelief, and disappointment will be the portion of members of the PDP in the state because Mr. Governor was finalizing arrangements to announce his would-be commissioner nominees. We told you that. Particularly, we told you that some persons residing in the UK, persons residing in the US, people residing in Lagos and Europe will be brought on board and that they will make the list. And today, we've seen what it's all about. We also told you that a former chief of staff will be made a commissioner. Of course, the former chief of staff in the person of the senator's son is now a commissioner. We also told you that commissioners in the former dispensation in the first tenure will not make it in the second tenure. Of course, you can count all of those. We told you to expect shock and disbelief, and that those who never supported this government would be brought on board, while those who bullied their perceived enemies on social media, if you like, call them social media bullies, and those who were used as thugs, will not also make the list. Of course, today they are busy complaining here and there. Of course, today we are wiser. The son of a former senator in Edo South Senatorial District is a commissioner. The daughter of another ex-senator from Edo North Senatorial District also made the list today. Today, a lady from the United Kingdom and another male from the United States of America have been named. Don't forget, the senator's daughter that has gone viral, the video of the senator's daughter that has gone viral is from the UK. She's from the UK. The person, the guy, the nominee from Akoko Edo, there are about two of them from Ososo in Akoko Edo who made the list. Congratulations to them. The son of the traditional ruler in Ososo made the list is from the US. We told you that 5 months ago. And so today we've learned our lessons. That even if the APC had won the election, some persons are asking me, are you thinking anything will be different? Anything will be different. Is anything going to be different? The lines are free over there. They are published on the screen. Call us and share your thoughts with us on this very discussion. Whatever the issues are, please let us know. Tell us if you are not in tune with this discussion. You can tell us areas you think we should discuss. Feel free. It's an open platform for everybody. And so, we told you that if the APC had won that election, will the APC also import people from UK, US? And because the strategy for winning election, the art of winning election is not the same as the art of governance. What you need to win election is different from what you need to govern a state or a country or a local government. And for those disappointed at the governor, we humbly advise you to take heart and accept your fate. It wasn't because you didn't work hard. You worked hard, but you were not working to get appointments. I don't know why you worked anyway. Or is it because you didn't insult the governor's enemies enough. That was why you didn't get appointment. Do you think if you had insulted more, you get appointment? Thank you guys for watching. All of you watching, we can see you. We appreciate all of you watching us on the John Mayaki Show. Yeah. Do you think you want to insult people the more so that the governor would notice you? No, no, no. Those guys who got appointment, check them out. None of them were on social media. If they're on social media, none of them insulted anybody, not even their worst enemy, because of the governor. And so the lessons have been learned on both sides, both on the APC side, both on the PDP. In the future elections, I want to believe you have all learned your lesson. Mr. Obaseki, thank you so very much for joining us on this show. We'll be inviting you shortly to tell us one or two things, what you think. It's not your fault, and that your name was not mentioned. Are you thinking it's because your dad is not a senator, your dad is not a former this, a former that, and so you were not appointed? Those of you in the PDP, it's not true. That is all. But for me, I think you should work harder so that your future, your children in the future can benefit from your hard work. If you ask me, it is God that showeth mercy. It is God that showeth mercy. No matter what you think, no matter how you hustle, no matter the night vigils in the church, no matter what you do, about life, about anything you want in life, it is God that showeth mercy. Let's even digress a little and take a look at a recent video being circulated online involving one Miss Afia Brimo, the daughter of the senator, who, of course, she was happy, have been appointed a commissioner in Edo State, and so the lady came out, no, I mean privately, maybe in her house, and she tried to show herself, and just in a private video. Somehow the video leaked, and you can see the video leaked, and it has become an issue of discussion, public debates on social media. Take a look at that video. Take a look at that video.
Honorable. Oh my God. Then we hear something. Benin ain't seen nothing yet, man. This is your newest honorable, Honorable Afi Brimo, commissioner, the latest commissioner in town. We're behind you, man. We're going to give them some fashion style. I trust you, all the English in the world. Afi, will they hear you when you speak in Benin? How will they understand what you're saying? When is all Oyibo Oyibo?
I want to try and learn their language and try and make sure that we can communicate.
And if you can't communicate with them?
Oh, we will.
I trust you. Senator Issa Brimo's daughter, I trust you. So this is the newest one to our family. Afi is now a commissioner. She's going to serve Edo State. And you trust me, I went to school in Edo State. I'm going to be there right here. I'm going to be by her side. If you come near her, I'm going to punch you. Congratulations, babes. Welcome to Nigeria.
If you come near her, I'm going to punch you. Wow. Mr. Obaseki, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you so very much for joining us on this show.
Can you hear me loud and clear, sir?
Very well. Go ahead.
Oh, good.
Good.
Good afternoon, Nigerians, and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the John Mayaki Show. Can you hear me still loud and clear, sir?
Very well. You are live. You are live. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Loud and clear, sir.
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead. You watched that video? Did you watch the video?
Sir.
Did you watch the video of the lady? Did you watch the video of the commissioner nominee? Hello? Did you watch the video of the commissioner nominee? Hello? So that commissioner nominee you saw there, in the said video, which has now gone viral, it was observed that the said lady was not a resident in Nigeria, but in the UK until recently when she was appointed by the state government. And so somebody did a video of her. If you touch her, I'ma punch you. Wow, that is quite interesting. But if it were you, you are appointed. You are appointed. You are lucky to be appointed. Of course, you will do a video. You will be happy. Of course, there's nothing criminalizing that the lady in that video, and you can't blame her. She has to do a video. She has to be happy. Of course, nobody sees a good thing and is not happy. So she has no voter's card. Mr. Zachary, can you hear me now? Hello, Mr. Zachary. Hello. And so, people say she has no voter's card. Oh, she has not voted before. She didn't participate in the election. People say, oh, she has never attended party meetings. And all the...
You, Tunde Alonga, we thank you. Can you hear me now, Mr. Zachary?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. I apologize for the technical issues. We're in Nigeria now, so we know the way it is.
Yes, yes. As you are battling it there, we're also trying.
I bet you can hear me loud and clear now, sir.
I can hear you very well. I can hear you very well.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So, I'm up.
Good. Well, did you watch the video of that lady?
Yes, I did. The beautiful commissioner from Edo State.
Yes.
Exotic commissioner. I say exotic because, like a lot of person have said, she was imported from abroad.
Yes.
You know, when you want to bring in things from abroad, you say exotic breed. So Edo State is privileged to have an exotic commissioner.
Yes.
And having watched that video, a lot of reactions and counter reactions, but I saw someone in that video, in the person of the commissioner, who was being honest with herself.
Mm-hmm.
She is completely not in tune with what is going on in the state, and she's honest about it. You know, honesty is first of all a test of integrity. So she agrees that she cannot speak the language. She agrees that she has to learn how to speak the language, and she has, admitted this on video, and it has gone viral now. But we cannot blame her. The father who happens to be a big-time politician in the Edo State, and one of those who are calling the shots, what some others derogatory refer to as the father, has nominated her. So she qualifies. She has the paper qualifications. She has the political qualification by virtue of the position the father occupies, and of course, she got the appointment. And she's now willing to learn the language. So we give her the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I think that is it. That is it. You cannot persecute her for having a father who was a former senator, or you cannot also persecute her that why will the father decide to appoint her daughter? Is the father going to appoint somebody? I mean, you can't. Oh, why did the father not appoint someone else who has worked before? So, are you trying to say if you have worked, Mr. Zachary, somebody, your children, your relatives should not enjoy your sweat?
Well, politics is the only game where people hope to reap where they did not sow, and then people hope to reap the benefits of the labors of others. Her father had worked with the governor, had worked for the governor in the last election, and had worked very hard. Again, you must begin as a person, as a young politician, bro, you must now begin to question yourself. It is about positioning yourself for the future. Now, there's this quarrel about why must it be this lady who just came from abroad, she was not here with us, but her father was here with us. Her father contributed materially, physically, politically, and otherwise to the success of the governor. It then means the governor has to somehow reward the father, who is a former senator, Senator Issa Brimo, by appointing the daughter. So we, as younger politicians, why it is okay to quarrel about this? Because, truth be told, there are youths in Edo State who went through the 192 words, in Edo State with the governor campaigning in the last election. Young people, eminent people, qualified people with the requisite qualifications and degrees and certificates and exposure, and in fact, the political connection to the roots, which is the argument here. The argument here is not that this lady is not qualified. The argument here is that she does not have the political connection to the roots. She does not have a voter's card, it has been alleged. She did not vote in the last election. She is not known in her local government. She's not known in her ward. This is the argument. There are others more as qualified as her who have this political route to become commissioner, who are not even considered for SSA job or SA job or even neighborhood watch job. But this lady was qualified simply because of the political capital that the father brings. The father who happens to be a former commissioner. If you have worked, you are entitled to eat. You know, if you have sown, you are entitled to reap. Those who orchestrated the grand betrayal in Edo State in the last election are the highest losers there, because it has been proven again that politicians have their way around things, and politicians are only your friend on the night of the election, and of course on the election day. Immediately the election is won and lost, they go back to their caucuses, and they have gone back to their caucuses now. I can understand the frustration of those who worked in the last election and who feel they have been shortchanged by this lady. But we cannot deny it. She's eminently qualified. And of course, politically speaking, her father qualifies her.
Thank you so very much. Wonderful. And the lines are there displayed on the screen. Feel free, call us and share your thoughts and opinion with us. Listen, even the governor was never a card-carry member of any party. Even the party that elected him, the governor never attended party meetings before he became the governor.
He didn't have voters cards.
The governor has no voters card.
Very close to the election in 2016.
Yes. When party chieftains procure the party's voters card for him, and the criteria for considering anyone for appointment though, are never cast in stone. There is no particular criteria to say this and this. Just if you want to contest for the position of a governor, the president, the constitution states exactly what you need to get, academic qualification, age, and co. to contest. But in appointment, you don't need all of those to get appointment. And so it is the prerogative of the governor to choose whom he can work with. What do you think?
Absolutely. The governor has the right to choose who he wants to work with and who he is comfortable working with. So we must begin to correct some of these mistakes. In the last elections, there were young people in Edo State who went on social media and were insulting, leaders who had helped them in that too. Not everybody will be Adams Oshomole. Look, we must take this. Adams Oshomole is being used as the yardstick of measurement. That is why some are quarreling with disappointment. Because Adams Oshomole will always find a way to reward those who had worked with him. Not everybody is Adams Oshomole. So Adams Oshomole happens to be a comrade who came from the labor background. In the labor background, the least man is important. I must tell you that in the political background and in the corporate setting, the least man is not important. The least man is dispensable. So Obaseki has simply shown his supporters that some are dispensable, but some are more dispensable than others. That is why he has brought in this lady who is the daughter of a former senator. The only criteria she brings in is that she's the daughter of a former senator.
What about her wealth of connection, her experience abroad, bringing a lot of things to the table? Don't forget.
Somebody was also talking of custom and tradition of how things are done in Edo State. And I told them, all you need is English language. Do you need to speak the dialects before you get appointments?
In Edo State, we happen not to be linguistically homogeneous state.
Yeah.
By that I mean, we do not all speak the same language. I am from Auchi, for example. If I am speaking my Auchi, the Benin man will not understand. If the Benin man is speaking Benin, if I have not stayed in Benin, I will not understand. I have stayed in Benin for almost 12 years, but I don't still understand the language. If the Akoko Edo man, Mr. John Mayaki is from Akoko Edo, if the Gara man is speaking, the Aochi man who is just by the corner there, both of the Afemai stock don't understand. If the Okpela man is speaking, for example, the man from Ewu or Irwa or Uromi will not understand. So we are not linguistically homogeneous. So the argument that you have to speak your native language to qualify for appointment in the state, smacks off a lot of ignorance.
Thank you so very much.
All you need is English, good English, or even pidgin English. We have seen people who don't even speak good English who are holding sensitive position in party politics and even in government. So all you need is English. We cannot, begin to question whether if she cannot speak her language, that's the business between her and her father and even her husband. It's not the business of Edo people. All you need is that she's an Edo State citizen. In fact, she does not even need to be an Edo State citizen to be a
that is the point. That is another point. In Lagos, yes. In Lagos, yes,
was commissioner to Bola Tinubu
in
Lagos.
Yes.
He was from
Osun State. Yes.
He later became governor of Osun.
Yes.
The present vice president of the Federal Republic
yes.
was a commissioner in Lagos.
Yes.
With Tinubu. He is from Ogun State.
Yes.
I'll be Osun State.
Ogun State.
Yes.
Now. Yes.
We have a very high-ranking government official in Lagos State here, the person of this Igbo man from Anambra State, who is very vocal.
Joe Ibokwe, yes. Yes, Joe Ibokwe.
Mr. Joe Ibokwe, here in Lagos, he's not a Yoruba. He's not even a Yoruba man. Not talk of being a Lagosian.
Yeah.
He's from the southeast.
Yes.
There was a certain Ben Akabwezi
from Delta State.
From Delta State.
Yeah.
In Edo State, for example, there was under Adams Oshomole's administration.
Yes.
We had SSA students.
Yes.
I can't remember his name now, but the guy contested elections in Benue subsequently.
Yes.
Got into the Benue State House of Assembly.
Yeah. He didn't win that election. He didn't win that election.
Yeah, okay, he didn't win that election.
Yes.
Yeah, if I know he contested.
Yes.
Let me give you the last one because I was very close to this man, Olaiton Oyerinde,
yes.
who was principal private secretary to Comrade Adams Oshomole in Edo State, who was killed on the eve of Adams Oshomole's re-election in 2012. He was from Osun State.
Mm-hmm.
He's from Ede in Osun State.
Yeah.
And when he was killed, I happened to be one of those who attended this very Ede at the NYC camp in Ede. So that this woman is even from Edo State alone is sufficient.
Thank you.
Whether it is a necessary condition, whether it's a sufficient condition, whether it's a necessary condition becomes a discussion for another day.
Thank you so very much.
Those who are crying are those who work for the government and now feel changed.
Those who insulted us, those who insulted their fathers. And okay. Yeah. You said what?
Insulted Adam sufficient, and now you have your governor. You cannot immediately now begin to insult the governor. You have to accept whatever he does.
Yeah.
He trusted his judgment. That's why he supported.
Yeah. Thank you. People say we have able and well-trained Nigerians, groomed professionals who have lived and worked all the years in Edo State in Nigeria. People say so. And we have very intelligent home-based individuals who have toiled with the governor politically and are very capable to lead in any capacity given to them. There's no doubt about that. But let me ask you, who told you that the lady in question is not qualified for the job? Have you seen her rich CV? Someone said the university she attended in the UK is one of the least in terms of ranking, and so she does not merit the appointment. A lot of people have said a lot of things. Some others have even called on the governor to retrace his steps and do away with every form of nepotism, and they call it favoritism in the selection of persons. And I told them, when the governor was sharing letters of appointment to people during the electionary campaign, people sat at home and they pick up letters. Their leaders delivered letters to them at home. What do you call that? Is that favoritism or what do you call that?
I mean, that's why I said you cannot eat your cake and have it. And Mr. Godwin Obaseki, I know, will not give you money and give you power at the same time. He will only give you one. So, in the eve of election, people had letter of appointment for SSAs in their files, going around looking for who will take SSA to support the governor. Just a month, 2 months, 3 months to the elections, and people took these letters. And whether they like it or not, tomorrow it will reflect on their CVs that they were senior special assistant, special assistant, special advisors to the governor, as the case may be.
That is it. You can't share. Yeah, you can't share power and share money. You see that you decide to share money.
At the same time.
You see that you decide to share money and leave power alone, or you leave money and share power. I think that is true.
Yes.
Yeah. To add salt to injury, to add salt to this very injury, some persons called on the governor to withdraw this lady's appointment, stating that it was a slap on the faces of those who toiled, those who fought, and those who
went to war with the governor during the political travails, up to the time of the Supreme Court for the second term. Do you think the governor owed these people for the governor, who the governor should work with?
No, you cannot. The Constitution of the Federal Republic places squarely on the laps of the governor the authority to choose who he wishes to work with, even if he needs to import exotic breeds of like the one we have in our hands just now. The quarrel about whether those who walked from the High Court to the Supreme Court, they were not the lawyers. The lawyers have collected money and they have collected their legal fees, and you don't hear them quarreling on radio and TV and on social media about why it has to be them who will hold commissionership positions, because they have charged what they need to take as their legal fees.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the end of the contract.
Yeah.
When you are supporting any politician, you must be able to establish what contract you want to, the contract, the terms of work with that politician. You don't go in blindly. And in this case, the governor had shared SSA and SS lots and paid 3 more salaries upfront. You enjoy this, but the mistake there is that they believe that this was going to continue for a long time.
Yeah.
And now it is over.
It's
now
over.
That it is over. You are quarreling with who the governor wants to work with. He has his choice.
Yeah.
It's his choice.
Yeah. Thank you so very much, Steve Zachary Jr. The lines are open. Feel free, call us and share your contribution.
Tell us what you think about this very discussion. They say Edo State is abundantly blessed with brilliant home-based men and women who are more than able to carry out any task, whether in government or outside government, and not foreigners who know absolutely nothing about the struggles to install the governor. That they say it is a slap on the faces of those who put their lives on the line for the sake of the governor's re-election, and that is also a slap on the faces of those who voted and campaigned massively for the governor against APC, not minding sacrificing their friendship, relationship on the altar of being loyal to the governor's cause. Well, you see the disappointment I forewarned. 5 months ago, just last year here, I warned people. I said, look, guys, after working for the governor, go face your business. You can imagine people trying to dictate how the governor should appoint his aides and who should make the governor's list. This is ignorance at its best. Anyways, I'm sure you know your governor doesn't have their time. This governor doesn't have time for all these guys. Have you asked the meaning of an appointment? I asked these people. Do they know the meaning of the governor appointing people? Does the governor have the power to appoint? Is there a law which restricts appointments to be limited to persons resident in a particular location, in a particular geographical location? I think we need to know our limits and boundaries when it comes to governance and the road to enthroning a democratic government. There's a caller. Let's put this on and we'll be back. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon, sir.
Yeah, you are on to the John Mayaki show. Your name and where you calling from?
Brian Mohammed from Auchi.
Brahma from Auchi. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. The issue of this commissioner pursuit. To me, that shows any issue, provided those who voted the governor, they trusted him, and they are the ones complaining. I believe the governor knows what he's doing, or saying somebody is not qualified to do work or one thing, he should be allowed to work. Because the time I don't see, even when they say the commissioner should go, what time they have to able to they have up to 3 years again?
No.
They should allow her to do her job. That's just for all those things of distraction at the end. They will levy on those arguments and all that. This is why we did not work. They should just allow this man to get focused and finish his term and go.
Yeah.
All those things. I know it's not moving. I know it's backward.
Yeah.
What are we saying?
Yes.
So nobody should even bring anything of the commissioner has taken up to how many up to a year before appointment. Now you are still coming here to say that this one or this one. So anybody who knew well for a day shouldn't bring those kind of issues up again and saying everything. No, I know those ones have voted the Obaseki that are complaining. I don't think it's person like me. I can't.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All we need is to pray for the government now. But because there's nothing we can do.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayaki.
This guy is saying we need to pray for the government. Government need to work and deliver for Edo people because the governor has barely less than 3 years to go. Let government face the business of government and let them work because we're already being shortchanged. I want to encourage us to find something meaningful to do. Those of us who think we have worked for the governor and it's not recognizing us, those of us, I'm inclusive, those of us, because look, the criticism we gave to the governor assisted the governor to even do some things he didn't plan to do. I'm not sure. Do you believe that, Mr. Zachary?
Well, I think the caller is being over optimistic about the hope of anything happening in Edo State in the next 3 years. You cannot judge the future without looking at the past. The best way to assess the future is to look at the past.
Yeah.
And if the governor has had 5 years, nearly 6 years, to be governor, and there's nothing to show for it, you are expecting a miracle in 2 years. You may as well try making cake with cement because you want to put in something, you want to put in soap opera and rip oranges. That's the situation we are in. But I can understand that as an Edo-lite, there's this hope, there's this hunger that things have to work in Edo State. Yeah. We cannot remain the way we are. We cannot be stagnated. That state was taken from zero level in 2009, and the then governor, in fairness to him, this is not about politics, in fairness to him, the former governor was able to lift that state out of the abyss of underdevelopment. Edo State that was once considered a civil service state, Benin Airport that only had one flight coming in on a weekend, on a Saturday, and that's for the big boys to go to Lagos to enjoy, to club and come back. There was no nightlife in Benin. There was no single dual carriage road in Benin. There was no 6th lane in Benin. There was nothing in Benin. I'm talking about Benin City now. I'm not talking about Auchi. I'm not talking about Uromi. I'm not talking about Ekpoma. I'm not talking about Igara. That is Benin City, the state capital. We were just backwards. When it rains, people are forgetting what it used to be at 5 Junction. Where you need a canoe, your car need amphibious features.
Mr. Zachary, I think
people forget about Lagos Road.
Mr. Zachary,
people forgot about Tom Line.
Thank you, Mr. Zachary. Thank you. We'll come to the issue of development and the infrastructure. We'll come to that. Just for the purpose of a review
of how the governor has appointed people so far, we must make use of our creative thinking and encourage every one of us to contribute meaningfully to government. Government cannot employ everybody. We must make use of our education for those of us who are educated, and for those of us who are not, let us learn a profession or handwork. This attitude of I must work in government, I must be part of government, it doesn't augur well for us. When you are busy doing something meaningful, you won't be on social media crying of favoritism and nepotism. Let us think of
yeah. Take a look at it, sir.
Yeah.
After the election,
yeah,
some of us that were on the losing side for example, I use myself as a keen example. I was part of the campaign council of the opposition, and then we lost. Here I saw that there was no hope in Edo State, not just in terms of government, now being in government. I relocated. I spent 80% of my time these days in Lagos. As I'm talking to you now, I am in Lagos. I do my business here. I monitor my business.
No, you are not the only one who have relocated. Zachary, you are not the only person. Yes. In fact, the governors, the PDP guys too have relocated. No. Those people
should not begin to cry about the governor not calling.
Mr. Zachary, let me digress a little. How will you campaign for a governor and after winning you are relocating? Is it that you brought in hardship on yourself? Look, I'm sure you know, we're not going to mention names. You know guys who have relocated out of Edo State.
A lot of them. Some of them are selling land here in Lekki, here in Lagos. Yes. Are there no land to sell in Edo State? Yeah, doing agent. If you want to rent flat, they arrange flat for you to rent here in Lagos. They left Edo State. What happened to the Edo State, to the man you enthroned in Edo State?
I think the lessons have been learned. Let us think of creative ways of engaging government and earn a living and also positively impact on society, and critically engage government to attract development. Let's stop crying foul and disease from this attitude of unnecessary entitlement. And before we go, Mr. Zachary, there is this crisis one in the House of Assembly that the Constitution says you must have at least at least 24, maximum of 40, maximum of 40 in the House of Assembly. That is a constitutional requirement for a House of Assembly. In Edo State, we don't have that, and we are in this country, and the president is not saying anything about that, and the judiciary is still, the case is still in the judiciary. I do not know. Is it that when the tenure of the assembly is over, that is when there will be judgment? Well, what is your think? Are you not worried?
Well, it will take a man who is not interested in the development of this not to be worried about this, because we are setting a precedence. In Edo State, we are setting a precedence that will come back to bite us in the ass. Yes. If Obaseki does this and succeeds with it, others are going to repeat it, and that will be a threat to democracy. Now, the State House of Assembly in Edo State, for example, has become a department in Edo State Government House. More like when the governor thinks of ideas, thinks of anything, whether good or bad, he takes them and just hands it over to the State House of Assembly, and they sign it inside the government house. If you watch the interview of the president the last time when they asked him about state police, if you read the body language of the president, you know Mr. President talks a lot with his body language. He's not a vociferous person, so he talks with body language. He said, the local government that we're giving to the state, what are they doing with it? And you cannot immediately trace it back to Edo State. Even the State House of Assembly that is supposed to be an independent arm of government, what has our governor done to it? It has become a department, an agency. In fact, some agencies are more important than the State House of Assembly in Edo State today. The State House of Assembly is supposed to be an independent arm of government. It is a bad precedent. It is something that we must continue to condemn. It is a blot. It is a dark spot in the history of our democratic history in Edo State. It has never been this bad. We've had quarrels, we've had fights, we've settled. But to relocate the entire State of Assembly and keep it in government house for this length of time, shut out, elected, duly elected, people that were elected, these are not appointed. The elected members of the State of Assembly, God was elected, shut them out of the state for over almost 3 years now, going to the fourth year. In 2023, their tenure will run out. And they never did the job. Up to the governor does not have a representative. The governor does not have a representative in his own Edo constituency representing him in the State House of Assembly. It is a sorry situation. It is a bitter taste.
I think
this is sour taste.
This our governor is there's a caller. This our governor is a very powerful governor. Let us pick this call. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, my sir.
Good afternoon. Your name and where you calling from?
I'm Brahma Amid. I'm calling from Auchi.
Okay.
I called before. The issue you raised, this was the issue that woke me up this morning. If you check my Facebook wall, I posted something concerning this Edo 40 hours of assembly. There is something I'm scared about. Like, does it mean people in Edo State, they are not aware of what is happening? Nobody is talking about it. All the government is so powerful that nobody can even talk about this issue of the House of Assembly members. That's my fear. Like, people, the top men we have, politicians, none of them is talking. We are below now. We can't just, we don't have the power. Either we are watching, but I know history will not forget this. That there was a time for 3 out of assembly members who were duly elected, we were forced to sit at home.
Thank you so very much.
It's a bad precedent for us, and nobody's talking about it. Even the president himself, nobody has mentioned it. If everything was to be, Edo State was to be a PDP state, democracy would be in danger. Now in Edo, both guys, they are silent. They relocated to Lagos, selling land. Nobody is talking now. Edo is moving forward for them, not for us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll do something about it. We'll keep trying. I remember doing a petition to the Code of Conduct. I remember I've done a lot of things concerning that issue. We'll keep doing something. We'll convene outside the social media, and we'll do something about it. If for nothing but for posterity to put us in, for posterity's sake. Yeah. Again, let's not forget the local government councils. The local government council, we don't have representation at the local government councils too. Their tenure expired about a year ago, and the governor said he was not going to conduct election because they are indebted, the local government. Is the state government not indebted? Is the federal government not indebted when elections are being conducted? And the other day, we understand the governor borrowed councils money for them to run. There's this caller. Repeat this caller. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Your name and where you calling from?
My name is Steve Adepoju. I'm calling from Akoko Edo.
Thank you so very much. Your contribution, please.
Yes. An interesting topic. Let me first of all say Happy New Year.
Thank you.
And thank you for the beautiful work that you're doing.
Thank you.
That is part of your contribution for us to have a better society. So God will reward you for all of this.
Amen.
Yeah, going to the topic of today, importing commissioners from all over the world to come and work in Edo State after people have labored for the party. Like I told them why the election, in the electionary process, I happened to have an encounter with some of these people. I told them that it is not a matter of the contribution that you put in that will result to whatever you're going to get. Because these people you are working for, by the time you insult others, there is a place they meet to discuss. As you are insulting them, you think they are opposed to each other. But after the whole game, they will meet to discuss. And then they will decide that is where they begin to filter those who are useful and those who are not useful. So they know those who are useful for insult, and they know those who are useful for the result. When the result comes, those who are to benefit. So today, what we have has clearly shown that these people have drawn the line. They have those they use for the labor. And when it is time to enjoy, they go and import people from abroad. And this trend, this new trend, I begin to ask, is it that some of these people, is it that they don't, because the rate at which they are coming from abroad to come and work, it only shows that nothing is actually happening over there. I think it is better for all of us to come home and come and put our contribution so that we can have a better state. And because we have all of these people who are now coming to come and work, if all of us are here, I am sure by the time we collectively put the government, put all our efforts in ensuring that we have a better government, we have a better state. So it is good. I think more of them should wait for when they are nominated before they relocate back home. We want them back home. And when it is time to share the power, we cannot share it together. Thank you very much. That's my contribution.
Thank you. Mr. Rekeri, this caller is funny. He said it seems nothing is happening abroad. That people should not wait. He said people should not wait abroad and get appointed before relocating home. It's just better they come home, stay with us, and do the campaigns, go through the process of campaigning from ward to ward, local government and all of those, suffer, toil for the party and get appointment. That is okay. That is quite funny. But again, we're talking about local government election. What is your take? This local government election. The governor said they are owing and that there's a lot of indebtedness in the local government. The other day, the governor said, oh, they can't pay salaries. I'm going to borrow their money, and borrow their money to pay salaries. Oh, what is happening? Mr. Zachary? Hello? Okay. Now, if you can't hear me, now look at this other scenario. We have APC at the national, and we have APC in Edo State. Unfortunately, we have not seen any meaningful thing the APC at the national is doing over the State House of Assembly, quagmire and logjam. Mr. Zachary, are you there?
Yes, I'm here now.
Good. Yes.
Like the other man said, you know, I don't know. It's a lot of confusion, so much confusion, and you know, when we are progressing in error, that a governor sits down, the third tier of government that is constitutionally empowered, the closest tier of government to the people, the governor has again, having usurped the State House of Assembly as an arm of government, has also usurped the local government administration. If it was in the time of Olusegun Obasanjo, they would have seized those state allocations to those local governments by now. It happens to be that the man they insult a lot, Baba Buhari, is a repented, what do they call it, reformed Democrat. That's why we have allocations going there. Now we don't have local government. How can a governor, which law empowers the governor to borrow money on behalf of the local government? Which law, I've read the Constitution of the Federal Republic, empowers the governor to borrow money at the behest of the local government? I mean, it's like my father borrowing money for me to pay back. My father now being the state government, I mean being the local government. Especially when I'm now a man of my own, I have my own wife, I have my own children. So you say abuses across board. And it has become, those states have become a laughing stock in the Committee of States.
Lastly,
I go around.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Lastly, time is against us. We'll quickly wrap it up. Now, look at what is happening at the Central Hospital. Are you conversant with that story? The other day, last year, there was this news that the governor was going to demolish that place. The Commissioner for Information said, no, this opposition is a bad opposition. That is not true. There was no going to be any demolition. Recently, we understand that the place has been demolished, as in the old part of the Central Hospital. What is happening?
That one you call part is the Central Hospital that is over 100 years. The one that was built by Comrade Adams Shomole that they refused to open for a long time is the specialist hospital, those specialist hospital, the accident and emergency center. The Central Hospital is just one of many. As we speak, Edo State Library built by the administration of Lucky Gbededion, the discredited, the often taunted and characterized by corruption, heavily criticized administration of Lucky Gbededion, built a gigantic library along Sapele Road. As we speak, that building has been brought down. As we speak, the a lot of properties belong to the government. That's all. Edo line line property in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Edo line. I am saying it now. I'm live I'm on air. Everybody around the world is watching me. You can go and verify. Edo line property in Port Harcourt has been sold. There are rumors that Edo House here in Victoria Island, opposite, if the building is just facing the Atlantic Ocean like this, prime building, prime real estate in Lagos. There are rumors now that it has been sold. That is not all. Now let us talk a little about. I don't want to dwell too much on the Central Hospital. Yes, Central Hospital is historical. It's over 100 years. Let's talk about Edo State Library that was built recently. Edo State Library is less than 20 years old. Central Hospital is 100 years old. Edo State Library that is less than 20 years old was built. That place has been serving. I have read there as an undergraduate student in the University of Benin. I have gone there to source for books. I have gone there for ambience to read. It has been demolished. Now, the question I'm asking, they are building a departmental store in this place. The question I am asking the Obaseki administration is, are there no lands in Benin to build a departmental store that you have to break a building that is already standing, retrograde? You are taking development in under the guise of bringing development. There are lands along Wall Lagos Road. Sapele Road is already overchoked. There are lands along even the same Sapele Road. There are lands along Atuawa. There are lands everywhere. Why do you have to break the library that was built, demolish it under the guise of building a private shop that the goods in the shop will not be sold for free to everyone? That's the question we should all ask ourselves.
Good. Finally, we have a lot of issues. This is the first outing the year. We're going to do more of this often, and a lot of issues will be raised. As we raise this issue on air, we're going to go to the background and make sure we follow them up. Namely, the House of Assembly, we need to intensify effort to assist democracy to grow. The local government election, getting government to account for what they do, what the commissioners are doing in the various ministries. We need to ask more questions as we progress in this show. As we come to the end of this show, Mr. Zachary, the youth again, 2023 is coming, is at hand. What do you think should be the advice from what we have learned from the appointment, from the election in Edo State and the appointment so far? We are saying now that the PDP guys are crying. What advice do you want to give to the youths in terms of campaign, in terms of supporting any of their aspirants, any candidates? What advice do you want to give? What advice do you to give?
First of all, I must let our youth know that you must be emotionally detached from the outcome of any election. If you win, be happy. If you lose, take it in strides and go by it. Yeah. This is to those of us who are in the opposition. Now, to those in the winning party, in the ruling party in Edo State. As a young person, you must have a second address. Yeah. Politics is not an occupation. Politics is not a job. Outside politics, Idris Zekeri, we talk on TV, we talk on radio, we talk on John Mayaki show. Idris Zekeri runs his own business. It might be very small, but it gives me what they call daily bread. These days, if they call me from Edo State, gentlemen, why are you not in Edo State? Look at what Obaseki is doing. I say I'm in Lagos looking for my daily bread. So you must have something that gives you your daily bread. That is on that. And then don't make enemies because of politicians. Don't turn your friends to your enemies because of politicians. There were politicians who blocked me in 2016, young people like me who blocked me in 2016, that in 2020, the last election, in 2020, the government, we were now on the same side. Some are watching me as we speak. In 2016, Obaseki Zeyamo election, you know, Zeyamo was in PDP, Obaseki was in APC. I was supporting Obaseki. Because of the heat of that election, some blocked me. In the last election, we were now on the same side. We are both. So I was still supporting an APC candidate, but they had left their principal had left the PDP and come to APC, and now we were working together. We now started on blocking ourselves. If not that, we were even able to, smoothing things out. That means that enmity can last for a lifetime. Don't make enemies. Don't turn your friends to your enemies because of politicians. We may not agree politically. It does not mean we are enemies. Yeah. It in fact, Politically, disagreeing politically, it helps to deepen democracy.
Mr. Zakari, sorry to cut you short. Assuming the governor finds his way back to APC, what will you make out of that?
Well, I am not a member of the APC, and I am not planning to register as a member of the APC, but it will be the biggest disappointment of the century. There are fillers to that effect. He didn't go to the PDP Governors Forum meeting in Rivers. I got that information. It then means he's already romancing with coming back to the party. It will be the biggest, it will be a man who took the party to court against party rules, because party has internal settlement mechanism. He took them to court, and you bring him back to the party. It then means the party has no principle. The party has no honor. That's the only way Obaseki can come back to the APC.
Thank you so very much. As we come to the end of this show, stay safe. I want to appreciate all of you who join us online. We see Onimsi Odomoru, we see Usas Nusa, we see a lot of Mafidon, we see a lot of you guys online. We want to appreciate all of you. We want to say stay safe. Don't be a tool in the hands of politicians in this electionary year,
and take care of yourself. Find something good to do. Don't depend on politicians to live. Get a second address. Bye for now.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.